Okay, vacation's over. I'm finally getting back into the studio. I don't know if you knew this, but California been pretty much underwater. During the Christmas and New Year's break, what I usually like to do, especially before New Year's, is I like to clean up the studio completely, pull everything out, get all the dust out of here because it does get very dusty, just clean it up, get it better, and then reorganize it to make it cool. Problem is, because of all that rain, I haven't had the chance to do that because I got to bring everything out, put it out here, and this, for the most part, until, well, just today, was underwater. So I haven't cleaned up the studio yet. But I thought, you know what, this is a good opportunity for me to kind of show everything that's under the dirty underbelly of what's going on in here. Let's do a little bit of a studio tour of what's happening right now, because I also want to talk about what's planned, because it's going to be cool eventually. There it is, in all its glory. And if I'm being completely honest about it, this is actually relatively clean compared to what it was just a couple weeks ago during Christmas. What I've come to the conclusion about this space is that it is not as functional as I had originally thought. Back in the day, I used to have this desk facing that window. By the way, that window got broken. It's been broken for a while. I just didn't bother fixing it. That's a story that I'll get into later. I decided to rearrange things so that I could have this as my backdrop for the videos. But having the desk just sitting here in the middle like this and having to kind of circumnavigate around it every single time is just, it's just not functional. All this other stuff that probably need to get rid of, or at least do something with, I don't have any place for it. And I feel like there's a lot of dead space, like this zone right up here is kind of dead. There's this is our barn door, which is totally stuck, which I'll get into. This is dead space. In here is basic storage of things, and we really want to get rid of this cabinet because it's, as you can see, it's all cattywampus all over the place. Kid's bike. These are all my canvases. That's something I got for Christmas, and you know, these are some old ones that, like, they're just not an ideal situation. Move this out of the way for a second. Oh. This shelving is complete, like, it does a job, but it's kind of like, it's so completely random with stuff. It's not a very functional size, and it's super rickety. We need to do something about that. I bought this easel years ago because I thought it was the artist thing to do, and it's been functional. It obviously holds big canvases like this, but it just gets in the way. So I need to figure out if I'm gonna keep it. Like, there has to be a better spot for it. Now, it is mobile, I can move it around, but there really isn't a whole lot of places to put it here right now. This is what I call the tool and trash corner. We were doing home improvement projects. I bought this table and all these tools and stuff like this, but as you can see, it's really kind of just been a catch-all for everything that we don't want to do anymore. I've had this tool chest for many years, and I feel like it needs a second life. It needs to have some sort of utility besides just holding tools. Here's all the regular storage. This is just Christmas lights and Christmas ornaments and other memories and things like that. There's a little bit of dead space up there, but I don't like stacking too much stuff up there, because if this Christmas, then I gotta pull everything down just to get the Christmas stuff. But I don't know, there's probably some functionality I could have in there. Of course, this is all my art supplies and art storage. I got the paint, I got tools here for making the scrap junk, and this is the scrap junk that I have, and I tear it apart, and I use those tools to glue, that I tear them apart and I glue together, and I glue with all these other things. Got some mementos and books and stuff, and let's see, some empty poster tubes and some not so empty poster tubes. Some of my art pieces are in here and here and in here. Some of my art is in there. These are all just some tchotchkes that I've had for a while, stickers and stuff. Hey, if you buy some stuff from me, I'll throw in some extra stickers for good measure. The inspiration wall, trash, and the desk, which has two cabinets underneath it. Down here, you've got this one down here that's mostly filled with paint and tools and stuff. I guess this has paint in it too. It's all my paint pens, and this is some other stuff, gloves and whatnot, and all paint and tape and all the other good things down in there. You know, I'm getting obsessive about an idea when I go into a vector program and start to draw it out. I mean, this is my current layout right now of the studio, and this is how I imagine it to be, which is a topic that we're going to talk about in the future when I get closer to being able to actually do this. I'll go in more detail about what's going on here, but as you can see, it opens up the whole space quite a bit and leaves me more room to walk around while still giving me opportunities to do things in different places. Sidebar! Let's talk about this thing real quick. This is the project that I started before Christmas, that I said it was going to be making this thing for my son for Christmas. It's taken a little bit longer than I wanted, mostly because it requires a lot of patience. For those who are unfamiliar, basically this is made out of a bunch of like recycled and trash bits, like pieces of plastic that I found or dollar store truck that I bought, and I've turned it into this. Now it's not done. The painting isn't great. I'm not the best at painting stuff like this, but this was all an experiment. I wanted to see if I could do it. I wanted to see how much work it was going to take, and I wanted to see how it was going to extend my knowledge base as an artist. Now, I made this for the kid, but the reason that I decided to make a robot tank thing instead of anything else is because I was kind of following suit of the people that I was learning from on YouTube. Bill Making Stuff, Stetson Studios, Boyle Hobby Time, just to name a few. I was watching these guys make this stuff, and I thought, I'm gonna make this stuff. I wanna make one of these things just to see how it goes. What I discovered in the process of making this is that I could take what I've just learned and apply it to all the other things that I make. I want to show you something. This is technically my very first assemblage. I made this a couple years ago, and it's all from things that I found like that kind of came up on the beach after a heavy rainstorm here in my town. It was an experiment. I wanted to see what I could do by putting a bunch of stuff together. I thought, well, got a good solid piece of block of wood, makes a good base, and then I was working with cans a lot. I just made this one recently. It was trashed, and I decided to just put a nail in it, and and it says, what is it? Where's the thing? It says here, "Find me afloat at sea," and then it said, "Finding the answers in a long walk." I was on a long walk looking for what am I gonna make? And this is what I made. That said, it's very rudimentary. It's obviously the first generation of an idea, and it's something that I wanted to expand on, but I just never had the time or the inclination to do so. Until I made this. So like the other time when I went to the beach to find all the things for this, I went to the beach recently. And I got a bunch of junk. Look at the size of this spray can. I mean, this is meant for nothing more than doing malicious stuff on walls. That's all this is made for. You see this pile of old poster board? You go to a big city and they have all these posters and they're all posted up and they say like the movies and the ads, whatever, and then they get torn down and the new ones get put up. That's what this stuff is right here. I found this in LA and I brought it home because it was just too good to pass up, and I plan on turning that into other art. In fact, I've used some of it here, like this spot here, that spot up there, and some other places. Now, I wouldn't call myself a devout conservationist, but I try to do my part. I recycle as much as I possibly can. I try to reuse things as much as I possibly can. And I believe that what I'm doing here with this stuff right now is an extension of that. When I took the time to really think about, kind of all the things that I've been into lately, I came to the conclusion that, this stuff that I'm doing, the using old materials into making them into new things, this is my thing. This is one of my things. And so I thought, let's explore this deeper. Let's go further into this. And in fact, that's actually my word for 2023. And I know this is kind of like one of these silly little woo-woo things that people do. Explore is my word for 2023. And I don't mean just explore my environment to go pick up trash off the ground. I mean like explore new ideas. Let's explore new things. Let's do all the things. Let's make all the things. Let's find new ways to take all the things that we've learned and turn them into new things. And then find more new things and add those to the mix and see how let's make 2023 amazingly explorative. But let's get back to the conversation about the studio, because we need to talk about things like that right there. Now, that window got broken because I kind of accidentally tapped it, and the glass was really cheap and it just shattered. And I was going to fix it, but then I decided not to, because this place, I'm not sure what we're going to do with this structure. Move this, and move this, and move this. That is a tree root. And that didn't cause that crack, but that crack has been here for a long time. In fact, it was here when we bought the place, but we didn't know it because it was covered with carpet. It goes all the way from one end of the foundation all the way to the other. And there's a couple other ones here. That's a problem. Part of the problem is that it has caused the whole structure to kind of come off of off the foundation. That can't be good. And I'm pretty sure that the foundation itself is sinking down here because, as you can see, that wood is basically stuck right down in there. And I mean, well, the basketball hoop's in the way, but even if I wanted to, I couldn't get this door open. It's completely jammed. So there's a lot to be done, and there's a lot of cool things that are going to be happening in there. In fact, I'm looking forward to kind of getting into the planning stage of this once the rain starts to lift. You know, we're dry right now. We got another storm coming in this weekend. This isn't going to happen for a while, maybe a couple weeks. I hope the rain stops at some point because I'm just getting so tired. I'm very intolerant of rain, but I'm more intolerant of the idea that I haven't been able to do the things that I wanted to do. Once it stops raining, we'll get to work on that. But in the meantime, we'll still be working, but just in the cluttered environment. Anyway, I've been Dave. You've been awesome. I'll see you next time.